My name is Rob Hall. I'm a class of 1989, Texas A&M University, proud Aggie. I started my career with HEB in June of 1989 and started with the store management training program that we went through. And that was a great foundation for me to understand total store operations within HEB. I've had almost 30 years now with the company. Most of my time was within the operations field or store operations field with this company. Through my time, I've held, I think it's been 14 or 15 positions with HEB within the 30 years. And now I'm the general manager of what we call the Mighty Gulf Coast region. And it's a great region of stores, 33 stores, about 6,000 partners, and I'm blessed every day to be a part of it. I value the memories. I value the friendships, the fellow students that I've had to work alongside with and study alongside with. But I think the biggest thing that I value with this university is just the spirit and the culture. Truly, when you think of that, it's heartwarming. I know I drove in last night, and as soon as I get close to A&M, you feel the spirit, and you feel that energy and that the culture that's there. When you walk across campus, you see it with students, and you get the howdies, and you know that you're on the A&M campus, and it's just a good feeling overall. So I'd say that's probably the big thing that I value the most here is the spirit and culture of A&M. When I look at challenges, there's challenges that come up daily, but by far the biggest that I've experienced in my time probably had to be August 17th of 2017. That was the date that Hurricane Harvey landed in the Texas Gulf Coast. As part of HEB, we've prepared for storms for many, many years, but a storm that reached Category 5 winds, a storm that reached the flooding impact that it did, a storm that produced the damage that it did, one of the largest damaging storms ever to hit the United States. And the spirit of HEB came alive during that time. And I will tell you that through those tough times, we wanted to make sure that we were the last to close because we knew that we needed to take care of the customers and the communities. But also, after the storm went through, we wanted to be the first to open because we knew that we were the sense of normalcy for a lot of folks that were out there. For the next 5 weeks after the storm, we had teams from across the state, HEBers that had came in, and we dedicated a lot of that time to help our partners that were in major loss. We went to their homes and cleaned yards and cleaned brush and took care of homes, if there was homes there in many cases. So that by far has been the biggest challenge, but I will tell you that it's probably produced the biggest rewards for me too, just with the spirit of HEB and how it came alive. When you see a new partner that started HEB at 16 years of age and they're going through and they're getting the education, they graduate from college, and you see that you have been a part of that, being flexible with them so that they could go and do their work and do their school and move on with the career. It's those partners that, in a sense, achieve more than they thought were possible. And to know that you've been a part of that, that's a joy that can be unmatched. To see that leader that gets his first store, that he is the solo top leader of a facility that could be in some places the biggest business in the town that he operates. And pretty special to see that. So making a difference in the lives of others and seeing others excel beyond what they thought was possible, that's the biggest joy that I have. Hard work is definitely a key component, but at HEB we look at many things. And one is you've got to have a head for business, and that's understanding the business components and everything that makes up a business so that you can make those quality decisions to operate and be a successful business owner. So head for business is one. Heart for people, I've got it listed as number 2, but it really ranks at the top of the list. It's understanding that we're all in a people business, and you've got to have that heart and that spirit and that culture that's going to be it's going to drive you to make a difference for others. So head for business, heart for people. And the last that I would say that we talk about at HEB quite a bit is the passion for results. Because we know that if we don't get results, then we can't do the joy of our life, which is make a difference in the lives of others that are out there. Whether it's our partners, our customers, or our communities, we got to have that passion for results and produce results so that we can give back the way we want to give back. I was blessed to be able to be a pole vaulter for Texas A&M, and in the sport of pole vaulting, there's always a bar that you try to clear. And I've used that all of my life and all of my career, that clearing that bar is not the end result. There's always a higher bar that you can go and achieve. And so I've used that throughout my business career. And setting goals has to be something that's continuous. And it's not goals just in business. It's goals in your personal life. It's goals in your health. It's goals in exercise. It's goals within your family. It's goals within your marriage. It's goals that you want your children to excel beyond what you have done and to have a life that's much more enjoyable than what we're experiencing today. So goals have been a huge part of my life, and I would tell folks out there that the challenge is how do you keep raising that bar on everything you do. As you go into your career, I will tell you that you've got to find something that you love doing. That's the biggest thing. When you go into work and you love it, then you're going to produce exponential results, and you're going to love it even more. So love of the work that you do is critically important in my mind. What I would ask you to take into work and take into a career is a lot of curiosity, because things are changing at a dramatic pace. And if you're not curious about what the future is going to bring, then you may not be maximizing your leadership and maximizing the results of that business. Integrity, respect, leadership, excellence, selfless service, all the things that you understood and you grew up with at A&M will carry over to your career. So keep those in mind. And but big thing, love what you do. I just will say thank you and Gig 'em Aggies.